So it turns out the Fusion page of DaVinci Resolve 21 is actually not able to view the source timecode that comes from this edit page. Now, there's a workaround for it, and that's what I want to share with you. It basically involves using the set timecode node, using a little bit of frame offset math. That's not that difficult to do. So if you take away one thing right now, you're taking whatever your composition start frame is, -997 plus, but the reason why I want to do this at all is because, well, savers are awesome. We can use the new metadata variables that are in version 21, and metadata like timecode is really awesome because it allows us to do a conform with matching timecode. So I want my source timecode retained in my renders. This is how it's done. So I'm gonna place my playhead at the very first frame of my comp. Up arrow gets me there. I'm gonna match frame to be able to copy it and paste it so I can view it in Fusion. The best way to do that is just hit F on the keyboard. That's match frame. If you have custom hotkeys, you can use this icon over here, or F, whatever you want. Basically, the top right of your source monitor, just right click, you see that source timecode. We'll go to copy timecode, open the Fusion page in your comp, and right before you get to that saver that we've got all our special metadata variables in, I'm going to come down here, drop a note, and since we have in our clipboard the timecode set right there, we can actually use this as a reference to manually punch in. Now, the node that injects timecode, you guessed it, it's called set timecode. That's not difficult, but what is not as obvious, I'm going to load that down here, so shift space, set timecode, and we'll just inject that right before my saver. You could also do this right at the top of your comp after you have your media in. Either way is fine. But if we take a look at the metadata of the clip as is, if I hit V to see my sub view menu looking at the metadata, you can look in this whole long list. There's lots of good information there, but there's no timecode. To get the timecode, I'll hit V to close my sub view. We're going to enter this into these values over here in the inspector. But because Fusion works off of frame counting, and it starts frame counting at frame 0, we can't enter this exactly as is, and I'll show you why. Basically, to actually see what we're looking at, let's punch this in first, and I'll show you. I'm going to open up the console to show you. Don't be afraid of the console. So 19, 18, tab, 12, tab, 20. Obviously, you want to make sure your frame rates match up. This is 24 frames a second, it's 2398, but it counts the same as 24. You've got your other options there as well. Now, to see the frame value that this is actually injecting into the stream, well, one, I could open my sub view again, but this is a long list. So to find the timecode in here, actually it appears in a different spot a lot of times. Oh, there it is, 19, 18, 54, 09. That's not the right timecode. So we actually have to do some accounting for the frame counting of this whole thing. I'm gonna hit V to close that up. I think it's easier to work with the console. So I'm gonna go to Workspace, Console, which is just going to allow me to see what I've done to this frame. And you can see if I hit print to console, this is 19, 18, 54, 09. So how do we get the correct number? I want this frame that it's on to be this frame. Well, all you need to do is take into account the start frame of your compositions. Now, the start frame for me, you can see down here, is 997. How did I get that? That's a project level setting that was introduced in DaVinci Resolve 20-something, I believe. Basically, it allows me to set this so that it's always at a consistent start frame. I choose 997 because it's 4 frame handles, whatever it is. This first number you put in here does matter for what we're about to do next, so just pay attention here. If it's 0 and you're starting on 0 and you never have handles, which never happens in the real world, you could just leave this part alone. You should be fine. But because most of us have to start with an offset, in case you get new frames at the beginning, this is how you do it. So rather than this last frame being set explicitly to 20, I'm going to right click on the frames word over there. We're going to create an expression. It's not really an expression, it's just a simple piece of math. I'm going to select the 20 and I'm going to put an offset here. So I'm going to do a parentheses with a negative. So I'm subtracting 997, close parentheses, and now I can enter whatever your last frame value is in your timecode you had copied over. So I'm going to do plus 20. So that's kind of the whole magic to all this. So if you take away one thing right now, you're taking whatever your composition start frame is, -997, plus whatever the value of the frame that you copied from the edit pages. So mine is 20. If I hit return, you can see this actually gives us a negative frame number in here. However, it now gives me the proper timecode value out of this as I go to the saver node. So basically, you can even spot check this if you want it. If I want to go to, like, let's say I jump to this frame right here, it's printing out 19, 18, 15, 21, edit page, match frame, 19, 18, 15, 21. So when I render this, the EXR sequence is actually going to have the proper timecode embedded into the stream. I'll go ahead and do that and prove that with media pool. I'll speed this part up, but basically I've already got my saver all set up. I'm going to hit Command-Shift-R to let that thing render out. And I'll be back in just a second as we reload this as a media pool asset rather than a loader. The render is complete now, so to load this into my media pool, just open that up. I'm going to go to my Finder. It's the quickest way to do that. And this is the sequence that it rendered out. For media pool imports, generally I grab the folder from the Finder. For loaders, I grab the first frame of the sequence. So that is something that's a little bit different. But if I drag this down here into my media pool now, and let's expose, let's see, a list view, we can actually see this render now actually does have a start timecode value of 19, 18, 12, 20. And if I did it without the set timecode, it would just be 0. So hopefully that's helpful for you if you do conform and you need to carry the metadata throughout. Oh, and before I get that comment, yes, of course you can render from the deliver page using individual clips and get the source timecode that way as well. I just find working in Fusion, staying in Fusion, using a saver node is really, really beneficial for just speeding up my workflow and not getting out of the Fusion mindset. If I haven't met you before, welcome to the channel. This is Creative Video Tips. My name is Chadwick. I'm a DaVinci Resolve master trainer, but more importantly, I'm a finishing artist that does this work every single week. And because there's always so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video.